I'm showing this again. This is Larry Flint. He was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia in March of 78, and I was living in Moonraker Apartments doing a medical malpractice book on mind control and programming at that time in Marietta, Georgia. And Lawrenceville is not that far from Marietta, and a lot was done to me there. But Mr. Flint was shot, and his attorney was killed at that time, and it was a program shooting, and it's where the wrong person pays for the crime. The shooter was put to death for the shooting, and he was programmed. Mr. Flint says here, I knew who was responsible for his shooting, and he mentions Larry McDonald and some others there, but it's the agency also that's doing it. The reason I'm putting this up, I'm going in a minute to the death of Zsa Zsa Gabor, okay, and her adopted son. This is Wallace Warfield Simpson, who married a double, an imposter, and became the illegal Duke and Duchess of Windsor, an illegal title. He died in 72 and was buried at Frogmore, Windsor Castle. And my father, Edward VIII, who married Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor in 35 or 36 before he abdicated, that was forced. It was a plot to take him down by character assassination, and they did. So my dad never married Wallace. He was married to my mom when he abdicated, and there was an addendum stating that should he have an heir, the heir would not be disinherited, the heir would inherit. So the minute I was born, Victoria II, heir to the British crown, it would have brought my father back as guardian and power of attorney. So my Uncle George VI, illegal, he's here in Hyde Park with Roosevelt, President Roosevelt, who appointed Joe Kennedy ambassador to England 36 to 46 when they kicked him out. He helped in my kidnapping, and so did his son JFK, who flew in, even went before Parliament and spoke. Can you believe that? I was born in 39, kidnapped in 41. Now, it was the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, Kennedy, Roosevelt, Sir Winston Churchill got into the cover-up. I don't know how much more, but the files, Windsor files, he burned. And his, Eisenhower was, I've forgotten the relation, he was a general, but I don't have that title, but they were friends in all this too. So this is where they brought me, the family. This is me, and I think this was in 43. This was made. This family, this was staged. They weren't dressed like this or anything. They certainly didn't have cars. And you don't see their shack over here at the side. And the hell that was done to me, the abuse was horrific. This is a woman, Lana, right on the end, that they made me call Mom when they put me there at 2 years. And I can remember, 2 years old, I can remember telling her, as bad as she beat me, that she wasn't my mother. This, I'm just going to show, it was twins. They were both dead, Peggy and Carl. They gave me the name of Peggy. Of course, I didn't know. I grew up, I don't know, somewhere I knew I wasn't that person, but I couldn't explain it. So anyway, I knew Carl was dead, but later I found out in 83 when Hustler magazine, I was flown out there in a campaign. He helped me because the congressman I wrote about, one of them, Larry McDonald, went down in the KOL passenger jet that went down from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea, and all 240 aboard died. Anyway, and Nixon was taken off in Juneau, so they knew it was going down. But this is Carl, and I knew he was dead, but they've even done things like the state of Alabama. This is, you can't mark through a birth certificate. That's illegal. But they have here because they gave me the wrong birth dates when they brought me over here. And the twins were actually a year older or so older than the date they gave me when I was brought over here. In other words, they were older than me. They were already born. So they had to somehow try to fix that. What I wanted to get to, this is my father, Edward VIII. This is, I don't have a photo of my mom, Claudia Ruth. This is my Aunt Georgia O'Keeffe, the artist. And of course, this is George in 39, the year I was born, planning my kidnapping with Roosevelt. This is Elizabeth. She's illegal. She's a war criminal. And this is her brood that's lived happily ever after. I hope not. I hope they pay for their crimes that they've done to me. She sleeps in my home. She eats my food. She clothes her kids. And I hope America gets to see what you all have done to me with the help of her and some of my own family there and politicians. The real people who have helped me are the Germans, and first of all, the citizens, the real people of Great Britain. The citizens. Now then, I wanted to put this up. I don't have any pictures, and I realize that helps. But I've always tried to, about some of the mind control murders, okay? Now then, Zsa Zsa Gabor, I'm just going to go back to this one, and I'll tell you why. Tonight I was reading about the two sons of Kimberly Conrad. She became Ms. Hugh Hefner, and they had two sons. And they were writing, there was an article about them with their dad, Hugh Hefner. And it started me looking back, and I knew that Kimberly Conrad was from Moulton, Alabama, and here's the deal, if I can get it up. In 1979, we got the letter from the FBI, ongoing investigation, national security involved. I thought it was because of the book. And on April Fool's Day of 80, I had antifreeze put in me. But one of the people I had contacted was Hugh Hefner, or the Playboy magazine. And don't let me forget his name. I've put it up so many times. Oh, geez. One of the people that were on his staff, that's on the side of his, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Anyway, back then, this is 78 when I lived at Moonraker, my husband went to him. They were in Chicago, and I called him. And he said, well, we've turned it over to our attorneys, and we're going to see if we can help you. Well, what happened then was they were moving their offices to Los Angeles, just like Larry Flint moved Hustler magazine to Los Angeles. Of course, he was in Cleveland, I think, or Cincinnati, Ohio, the home office then. But anyway, my point is that part of the Playboy staff employees were on a plane from O'Hare, and it crashed. And I don't know how many died. I didn't go back and try to Google that. It's been a while since but it was July the 12th, I think, that it went down of 79. So anyway, I noticed that article, and I went back to Kimberly Conrad, who married him, and that was her children, two children making the statement. They were about... well, it was kind of cryptic to me about getting the DNA or ID back to Playboy magazine because they no longer have nude photos. So anyway, whatever, people, anyway, here was what I tried to tell people, and I'm just going to read this. I don't have photographs or anything of it, but Zsa Zsa Gabor died a few days before Christmas, this past Christmas, and she had had a leg amputated a few years ago, and I knew that mind control was used in it. And I've told about the list, at least some of them, mind control murders, and I've told about the Tesla files, where they were stolen from him, and 1930, and you can create an illness or cure it. So they've had cures for all these things, diseases and everything since then, so I'm not going to go any further about that. But I said that they could cure an illness or create one. So they can program people and program them to do anything. They don't know they're being programmed. They can run in the river and drown in the car, or they can mass program people now like armies. Aurora, Colorado. Well, right next door to me here, the Virginia Tech, and then the Fort Hood shooter finished school. He was a psychiatrist himself. He's on death row, and he did the shootings. He was programmed out in Fort Hood. Now then, I want to read this, and this is all I'm going to do. This is back to, and I'm just going to read it and hope I don't make too many mistakes here. This is back to... I'm just going to read it here. In 1989, just prior to marrying Playboy publisher Hugh Hefner, Kimberly Conrad, became Hefner, was knighted by, I'm going to spell these, okay, Frederic, and then Prinz, and then Von, and then Anhalt, Hnhalt. He was born Hans George Robert Lichtenberg, the adult adopted son of Princess Marie Augustus of Anhalt, who was daughter-in-law of German Emperor Wilhelm II. Ms. Kimberly Conrad Hefner was born in Moulton, Alabama. I was kidnapped at age 2 in 1941 from Buckingham Palace. My father's Edward VIII, who wed Claudia O'Keeffe in 1936, forced abdication plot to assassinate King Edward VIII with character assassination lies. An imposter wed Wallace Simpson, American spy, and became the legal title of Duke and Duchess of Windsor. And he was still alive in 1972. My father was still alive. He died in 1972. The imposter was born, buried at Frogmore, Windsor Castle. Now then, Zsa Zsa Gabor and the gentleman that I just told you, that I've just stated here, that he was the one that really knighted Kimberly Conrad Hefner. Okay, now this is their adopted son. He married Zsa Zsa Gabor, and they lived in Beverly Hills or Bel Air, I'm not sure, for a long time, but she had a leg amputated. And this is something that I have told about, the mind control, what you can do with it. Okay, she died a few days before this past Christmas, and their adopted son, his name's Oliver Prinz von Anhalt. He died on Christmas, the day, the 25th of 2016, this past Christmas. He died in the hospital following a motorcycle accident on Mulholland Drive. Okay, I put those up in their mind control murders, and the reason that I'm reiterating on this is the article and some other things that are going on that was about Playboy. And I remembered in Kimberly Conrad Hefner's two sons and their dad. And I went back to that. Of course, I had pictures there, and people like pictures better than my trying to tell this. But I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know if the truth is ever told. I've tried. I'd like to have my name back. I'd like my children back. I hope they're alive. And I'd like for the war criminals to pay for their crimes. None of them have ever paid. They've lived good. So anyway, I'm going to get off here, and I'm going to turn it around and try to, if I can stand up here. Okay, this is me here. Well, I'm not only gaining weight, I'm losing hair as I age because of the things that have been done to me, really. And I hope all of it's told, and the people that helped me are paid accordingly, and the people that committed the crimes, even though half of them are dead, pay accordingly to their crimes. Okay?